Right now, in a city you'll never visit, someone is about to become rich, and nobody around them has noticed. They don't look like it. Nothing about their apartment, their car, their Tuesday night says anything is coming. Tonight, they're going to do the exact same small thing they've done for years, alone, with no one watching, and it's going to work. This isn't a story about talent. It's about 5 people who got rich, and the one boring thing each of them refused to stop doing before anyone was paying attention. Rewind. It's 1951. Warren Buffett is 20 years old, and he is reading. Not for school, not for a test. He reads about 500 pages a day, stacks of annual reports, and financial pages most people would use to start a fire. Nobody is impressed by this. There is no version of 1951 where a young man reading alone in a room looks like the future richest investor on earth. He says later that knowledge works like compound interest. Everybody can do this, but nobody wants to. He isn't picking stocks that day. He isn't making a dime. He's just reading the way he reads almost every day for the next 70 years. Nobody claps for a man reading a balance sheet on a Tuesday night. That was never the point. It's 1990 something, and Sara Blakely is knocking on an office door for the 6th time today. She sells fax machines, door to door, for 7 straight years. Someone tears up her business card in front of her, roughly once a week. Once, the police get called on her for trespassing on a sales visit. She goes home most nights exhausted from being told no, and this is the part nobody puts in the highlight reel. At dinner, growing up, her father used to ask her one question, not, "How did you do today?" "What did you fail at today?" If she had nothing, he was disappointed, so rejection stopped meaning what it meant to everyone else. At night, after a full day of doors closing on her, she sits alone and works on an idea, footless pantyhose, cutting the feet off a pair with scissors in her apartment, because she can't find what she's picturing anywhere in a store. Nobody is watching this either. She has $5,000 saved and no one backing her. That's the whole company, for years. A woman getting rejected all day, then quietly building something at night that nobody asked her to build. It's a cold flat in Edinburgh and JK. Rowling is a single mother on government assistance, writing longhand in a cafe because the cafe is warmer than her apartment, and her baby will finally sleep in the pram beside her. She finishes a manuscript about a boy wizard. 12 publishers say no. Not politely either. Some don't even bother writing a full letter back. She keeps sending it anyway. There is no algorithm telling her this is going to work. There is no editor giving her a hopeful nod. Just a woman with less money than almost anyone reading this, writing in the same 3 hours every day because it's the only quiet she gets, refusing to let 12 rejections turn into 13 reasons to stop. Nobody in that cafe has any idea what's in the notebook 2 tables over. Vienna, then later California. Arnold Schwarzenegger grows up with almost nothing, and the one habit that never leaves him starts as a child. Get up, straighten the room before you leave it. Do the unglamorous thing whether anyone checks or not. He carries that discipline straight into a gym before sunrise, training alone, year after year, long before a single magazine cover, long before anyone in America can pronounce his name. Nobody is filming these early mornings. There's no crowd at 5 a.m. He isn't training to be famous that day. He's training because he already decided, privately, what the ending looks like, and he's not going to be the reason it doesn't happen. Dallas, and a much younger, much broker, Mark Cuban, is sleeping on the floor of an apartment he shares with 6 roommates because there isn't a bed for him yet. He can't afford one. What he can afford is time. So every night, he reads. Every book on selling he can find, cover to cover, because nobody is coming to teach him and he isn't going to wait for them to. Decades later, when he's a billionaire, people ask about his morning routine expecting something complicated. It isn't. He starts working the second he wakes up. That's it. That's the whole secret. It was true when he had a bed, and it was true when he didn't. None of these 5 people knew, on the night they did the small boring thing, that it was going to be the thing. Buffett didn't know reading alone would build an empire. Blakely didn't know the scissors in her apartment were building a billion-dollar company. Rowling didn't know the cafe notebook would outsell almost every book in human history. There was no proof yet. There was no sign. That's exactly why almost nobody does it. It's easy to work hard once someone is watching, once there's a stage, a bonus, a crowd. It's a completely different thing to do the unglamorous, unrewarded version of the work when the only person who will ever know is you. So, back to that person in your city tonight, the one nobody's noticed yet. They're not doing anything that would make good footage. They're reading, or getting rejected, or writing in the cold, or training before the sun's up, or reading one more book on the floor of an apartment they can't really afford. Nobody's clapping. That was never going to be the reward. The reward comes later, quietly, usually so much later that by the time it arrives, almost everyone has forgotten it was ever a choice at all. Maybe you're already doing your version of it right now. Maybe you're about to start. Either way, nobody's going to notice the night it begins. That's not the discouraging part. That's the whole point.